Let's talk about the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
where this all began, where the road to WrestleMania truly began roading and
How
truly
did
began
how did this
WrestleManiaing.
how did this become the worst show they've ever done? Is my question.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
Let me.
it is literally. I look on Sports Illustrated uneven. I'm like, huh? I could only to me think of one really bad thing on the show, and that was the end. And it was just like but it wasn't like Fiend Seth bad. It wasn't, it wasn't like the most awful main event. It clearly looked like they were rushed for time, and it was confirmed that they were. But it was like it was a bunch of course correcting on the show, matched with four really good undercard matches, which I
What I'll say is, um, regarding the Russia, why this is regarded as one of the worst things is, I think the idea that WWE pushed a button and just decided, now this is what we're doing, is kind of where this all comes in.
they always do that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing though, because like it's not that I don't think this is the worst. I actually think this is a very good Royal Rumble. Um, but however, I think when you talk about those exclamation points, when you look up at Ronda and Brock and stuff like that, Brock, I'm a little less thing, but I understand that still the contemptuous attitude towards Brock. Ronda, I guess it just came out of, so you spent kind of you spend maybe like the last, I'll say until when Becky come back. Let's start with Becky came back. You spent the number of years building up a division in some sort of way, and you kind of want to, fans at least want to kind of see it rewarded in a way, which is the Royal Rumble, which is the main event at WrestleMania. No one had any qualms about what happened last year because it was organic and it happened the way it happened. Um, to take the entire efforts of, and this is why I can only surmise that the women wrestling fans are angry because they are 100% livid at what went on. Um, but because you spent so many months, you build up all these contenders, you all these other people that come in fact. And then Ronda kind of just shows up at number 28 and kind of just like completely usurps the main event. And you kind of got to live through essentially the year of Ronda that you kind of did in 2018, 2019, which
How do they
was,
know that? How do they know that though?
no, I mean, you don't really know that, but that's how the company is going to work, right? Like this is Ronda Rousey we're talking about.
Biggest star, biggest star.
Absolutely the biggest star, but it's that star that kind of, it can kind of like the development of actual stars itself could actually kind of like take a back seat.
Uh,
I could I could
there are
I could
there
see that.
are 4 or 5. There are 4 or 5 people who are probably exempt from that. They probably will be fine. Uh, Worst show ever just because of that though? Not at all.
I
I
think,
I mean,
and then the way it ended with the men's Royal Rumble. I think with the men's Royal Rumble, it was the most obvious result that everyone has ever
but,
seen.
but it's weird. But it's weird because it's like the women's rumble was really still good.
No, the
The
women's
ending
Rumble was
doesn't change.
fantastic. I think
It
that was
doesn't
really good.
change. Yeah, it doesn't change. And I think the women outdid the men this year, even with the winner. I don't care. It was what it was. We knew. Listen, y'all niggas be on the internet all day. It was tweeted to you. It was reported to you last Tuesday
Mhm.
after our show aired. It was told to you multiple times last week that she was coming back by people who were, you don't believe in people you do believe. When it's that many people telling you it's about to happen, it's gonna happen. Okay, so y'all knew what was happening. Y'all knew what the deal was. And
Mhm.
then when you got the story, it is what it is. So now you got it. It is what it is. You want to stop watching?
I mean,
That's up
no
to
one
you.
will ever stop watching. I
No one
don't
will
think
ever
that.
stop. No
I
one's
don't
gonna
think
stop.
they'll. Well, I mean, multiple millions of people stopped watching over the last number of 20 years, but that's how TV goes. However, I do think that, I can kind of
I
see.
also think it's quote unquote not fun because someone's faves didn't win. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
also has to do with it.
I mean, yes, it's very much so big stand-up of
My
like.
my my fave didn't. Here's my thing. My fave didn't win. The person that we predicted didn't win. The person that we've been saying for months didn't win. and we didn't fall out over it. Like I don't understand. Like I didn't like pass out whatever, and it wasn't because like I accept everything that they do. It's because I was like, oh, that's where they're going. Okay, I don't
I think
understand like how.
because I think we see things as a company making decisions, whereas people have some other vested interest in this. I think personally, you and definitely me view this all as characters on the screen, whereas other people don't necessarily view that, or they're much more invested in a different way. And people do that with their faves. To be honest with you, I'm invested with all the stuff that the Miz does, but I respect him more as a performer than an actual like. I'm not crying because he hasn't gotten a WWE title shot. Well, he got his first WWE title shot in like damn near a decade, like last year. Um, because I just know that this is a character. It is what it is. It is in TV, and I think most fans don't necessarily accept things like that. They have a lot more. They've they've kind of taking a lot more narratives, whether it be the Bianca WWE doesn't fuck with black people type of narrative, or the, why is Liv being treated this way? Why is Sasha Banks being eliminated this early? Why is all this? And they take all these narratives and they combine it and they're so invested within that, in their own characters, that when something else happens that's monumental and it doesn't happen for their fave, and actually their fave is actually takes a is the actually takes the hit from it. Similar to
Mm,
Bianca at SummerSlam, similar to, this, I guess, 29 other women at fucking the Royal Rumble. Then everyone's like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, I think I think it is really by person, because I think if you take a fan who has not watched WWE, or who's just a casual viewer, they see this shit and they're like, oh, Ronda's cool. She's one of the toughest bitches in the world. Of course she can knock everyone else out.
yeah,
Um, But I think it's that extra investment that people have, which I don't blame them to, because people fall in love with characters. People just do. Well, I think we view it as something kind of else. Um,
I
Now,
think a lot of people do this something else.
yeah, yeah,
Like
the
some
Brock.
people are just they're
n-
just so like it has to be this way, and why didn't they do it this way? It's like I don't know.
Now
Like who's
the Brock thing for me, is tiring in a kind of way, um, because I think it's been happening for too long, and they've hit the Brock button too much. They've hit it in my opinion, they've hit it way too much. They hit it at day 1, they hit it when he came back, they've hit it at Money in the Bank a couple years ago, they've hit it, this is what the company is gonna do because Brock Lesnar's a draw, and I 100% understand that. But to me, it's happening way too it's like watching the rematch when we complain about Biggie and Apollo facing each other every week, or Bobby Lashley beating up people every week. To me, that's where I come with my contention for why the main event happened, because I'm like, "Yo, we dead ass saw this before." And now, even when we go to Monday Night Raw, which we'll talk about, it's even more confusing, or actually a lot more. It's either more confusing or more absolutely clear on WrestleMania, if that makes sense.
don't you want it to be clear?
Um, I want a story to take me out of the element of like, yo, I can predict everything that happens. Sometimes you want just that unpredictability. But you knew that Brock was gonna. I felt as soon as we were texting during this, and it was like as soon as AJ got eliminated, it was like, oh, Brock must be winning.
Yeah, I mean,
But now,
what I was like, I always say this: the most predictable option, they will always take it because it's the safest option. What would have been not safe for them to do? Not put Brock Lesnar in the main event. I mean, he's back.
and it kind of feels like to me now more than ever, which I thought was a complete. Every time everyone suggested it, I thought was a dumbass plan. But it kind of feels like to me they're heading towards the thing of Brock Lesnar is going to be Universal Champion going into WrestleMania, and Roman Reigns is going to. Sorry, Brock Lesnar is going to be WWE Champion, and Roman Reigns is going to be Universal Champion. That's how it feels to me.
Biggest, most stupendous.
Most fucking stupendous main event ever.
Hmm. Hmm.
100,000 people.
Yeah,
So I get why they're doing it, but
you had to get. You got to get there. Like I said, if Roman doesn't catch COVID, a lot of these decisions aren't made as far as the men go,
do you
in
think
my
Brock
opinion.
Lesnar is still in the main event of WrestleMania if Roman Reigns doesn't catch COVID?
I think that was always going to be
Right.
the match. I think it was always going to be the match. That right now we're in the chase period for Brock, and they had to speed it up the chase period because he got COVID. If we were to draw comparisons or parallels, uh, I would say what you'd say what he Brock probably loses at day one. He
Yeah,
goes
because
to
Paul
he
Heyman turns on him.
he'll turn on him there. Seth probably wins or something at day one. That match. Brock, in order to get back to Roman, probably wins the Royal Rumble anyway. 29 days later,
Mhm.
and then he picks Roman, or in some way, shape, or form, he probably gets a WWE title at that point.
Mhm.
I think that's what happens. I think that's a better story than what they did there. I will agree with you, but they had to move it up 28 days. This 28 days was probably the most contentious in terms of storytelling for these guys right now because they had to change everything over. But
Yeah.
I can understand the Roman Brock thing. This will be what their fourth main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Um,
and then also, I mean, Saudi pay-per-view, they just faced each other, they were gonna face each other day 1, blah, blah, blah.
it's their Rock Stone Cold. it's,
I don't even
it's their
think
Rock.
that's their Rock Stone Cold, because Rock Stone Cold are, like, 2 magnanimous. They're like it's from a draw
Roman is that.
standpoint. It's from a
Roman is that.
Yeah, but it's a from a draw standpoint, but I don't see Roman I don't see them as foils for one another even on a, like, a cultural standpoint. I just see
Mhm.
them as 2 major guys who see each other as an obstacle. I don't see them a foil as kinda like The Rock and thing. That's why the argument for, like, Bianca versus Becky that's closer to Rock and Stone Cold for me, because it's kinda like a world of characters and all this other stuff. Someone's at their peak, someone on the upcoming rise. They're both completely massive stars. I see this more as like, um, I guess, what can I relate this to? Um, like, I guess Hogan and Macho Man, kind of? I don't
Oh, that's
know.
fair.
It's
That's
it's
fair.
it seems like just 2 massive stars that are colliding with one another, and they're doing this for this
Yeah.
big it's a big box office thing, you know?
You
Um,
can't deny, regardless of how many times you've seen it, you can't deny that like it's
it's
the
the
biggest match for
it's
Roman
the biggest match they have, period. If The Rock
for
isn't
men.
coming back.
Yeah. He's beaten everyone.
Y
There's no one I believe on that main roster that is ready. And I said, and that goes into my complaints with the Rumble. And I said this to you when we were watching it. They had 2 years to make someone feel important on that roster. And all they had was those 10 guys and AJ that came out at the end. No one else knew anyone's theme, nothing. When they heard Orton, of course they popped there in STL. They heard Riddle, they pop. They heard AJ, they pop. Everyone else, big blank because it's just not. But those last 10 guys, they knew who the fuck they were. Riddle hit a crazy RKO. That
Oh,
was
that
like
was
my
sick.
favorite part of the match.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
one of the
sick.
craziest RKOs I've ever seen in my life. We thought that it would have been the two of them, but it's like it was always Brock, and it just is what it is, man. Like
I love the disdain for why is Shane McMahon in the Final Four? Because also me.
he produced it. He produced it. Same reason why Molly Holly was out there because she probably produced it and she probably told Nikki Ash, tell this person do this, tell this person do this, tell this person do this, and hurry this shit up. That's literally why she probably came out. Women's Royal Rumble was fantastic, and I think mostly because of what it did, what the men's couldn't do, and that was have really sensical entries for the women. Of course, you had like you had the Cameron thing into Naomi, the Sasha thing, which again, Sasha being eliminated at number one like was so weird, but
The weirdest
they
part
had
is how they
Bianca,
started a Royal Rumble in someone with Sailor Moon cosplay. That was fucking weird as fuck.
yeah,
Like, you're trying to
but
show
like
your friends a Royal Rumble, and it's like, "Here comes Sailor Moon."
right, but like right after that, they had Bianca come out, so that people literally, unless you were like a part of the crew, um, it literally had Bianca come out right after, and everyone forgot about Sasha. Not forgot about her, but forgot to be mad about it because
Yeah, yeah.
Bianca was out. The Nikki Ash stuff with Molly was good. They had stories
Mhm.
that if you were paying
Ivory.
attention, Ivory with Rhea, all of that stuff was just so well done. It was like if this was a love letter to like if you really love the women's division, you know, all throughout your life, this is what you love. You know what I'm saying? This is what you get. So,
Minus
um,
Ronda coming up and house and every bitch in there, but yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
Shayna
yeah.
did it. I mean, shit. Like I like the Shayna moment.
I agree.
When
I
when
like that as
when
well.
she saw Shayna, like, even everything here's the thing, you can't say the Ronda thing didn't make sense because she really didn't. For real, Mills, she didn't really come in there and just throw everybody out. She didn't. Like, Shayna threw out a bunch of people. Bianca was still throwing people out. Like, it wasn't like she didn't Brock it. Okay, like it
Right.
would there were moments where she was just she looked terrible and tired, yes, but
She just
I
had a
even
baby
thought
3 months ago. That's insane.
even with the whatever the win, I okay, politics aside, she has shitty politics. Okay, she's a shitty person. I'm judging the show on the show
Yeah.
because that's what we do. We judge the show on the show. It was a sensical win. It's looking to be Charlotte. She's gonna say it on Friday. We know it's gonna be Charlotte. They're just playing coy. We already know Charlotte requested it, and they do whatever she fucking wants her to do. Boom, there you go.
Listen, better her than Becky, I swear to God.
Yeah,
I swear to God. Listen, SmackDown needs it though. SmackDown needs it definitely. SmackDown needs a
it,
Ronda appearance every now and then.
no, well, she's booked in every SmackDown except for one up until Mania.
You think she'll be in Brooklyn?
Yeah, I mean they're going to Brooklyn too. Yeah, she's booked. She's the only one she's missing is, I believe. Don't quote me on this. Someone's going to correct me. Ohio or something. North
Okay.
Carolina. She's not. She's not going to be in North Carolina. She's not going to be in North Carolina. The North
Oh,
Carolina one.
okay.
She's not going to be.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't need that. But okay. I mean, that's very interesting. So it remains to see. I mean, it looks like Ronda versus Charlotte at WrestleMania.